Hello, beautiful healthcare humans. Welcome back to the High Performance Nursing Podcast. Oh, it is a wet, rainy, grey, miserable day here in Paris, but I'm on the countdown and I'm so frigging excited for warmth, chicken schnitty, a banh mi, some good Thai, some sunshine. I want to be on the beach. I want to go to the ocean. I know I've been in Europe. You're all like, oh God, Liam, seriously? But it's been an interesting year. It's been incredible to be so close to my family and friends, but it's also been challenging because we haven't really been able to put our any kind of roots down because we never really knew if we were staying or going. Because if you remember back, if you've been with us since the start, yeah, we were only supposed to be here 6 months. And we've been here like 15 months, which has been an incredible experience. And for those that are like, what is he talking about? I'm in Paris at the moment and I've been there. It still amazes me that people are like, are you in Australia? I'm like, no, I'm in Paris. We've been here since December 2022. It's been a really cool experience for me to work internationally, like as you know, not as a nurse per se, but to be able to run my business from like over 10 countries. That is like the dream. I'm like, what the hell? What is happening? So that's been super cool and super fun. And I'm divulging all this tedious life stuff today just to share with you that I'm coming back and I'm super excited and I can't wait. And I have so many people that are like, we need to connect. And I'm like, I've got so many clients in Sydney that I'm like, we need to go for coffee. And I'm so excited to be on Australian soil and just to I have so many plans. I have so many things that I want to do, so many collaborations, and I've just been like sitting here waiting, like, oh, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, and I'm sure I'll have reverse culture shock. Good friend of the podcast, Sarah Morse, emailed me a couple of weeks ago. She's been on the podcast. She's amazing. Hi, Sarah, if you're listening. And she said, you can have reverse culture shock. And I was like, really? I'm like, oh, no. So anyway, whatever comes, comes. I'm super grateful. And I'm so excited to get back to an Australian time zone so that I don't have to wake up at ridiculous o'clock to do calls and to just go to the coffee shop and order an Australian coffee and not have to speak terrible French. So that's always fun. In other news, we have just launched our Nurse Growth Hub. I haven't spoke about it a lot here, which I was like, I need to talk about it a little bit more because it's pretty incredible. Over the years, we have been offering like heaps of free resources to people. And I'm so grateful because there are so many people that I know that work for the Nursing Midwifery Helpline. Shout out to those guys that work over there that, refer lots of people to our podcast and to our resources. I was like, holy shit, I better tell the people about what we have available. So, if you're a nurse that's looking to apply an interview and land your next role this year, we have a Nurse Growth Hub, which is completely free. 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 Don't know even how to say it in French, but it's free. Did I mention it's free? It's completely free, and we are adding stuff to this throughout the year. I want it to be a space where nurses of all levels in their career can come and get like unbiased, no BS, amazing resources to take the next step. Because I appreciate and understand that not everybody's in a position to come work with us. I totally get that. I understand. But I also appreciate and understand that you shouldn't put off taking the next step because of income or because of timing or because of where you live in the world, right? Like me. Give yourself the opportunity to download the guides and all of the things whilst they're there and whilst they're accessible and make that your reality and use them to move yourself forward in your career. So I just wanted to say what you can get in there at the moment. For grads that are finishing up in 2024, Ange, amazing Ange that works with me, created a month by month grad program by grad program, public and private, with all of the links, all of the dates, timeline, and list for you to be able to download, click on it, and plan out where you're going to apply for. If you're a grad and you're not applying for multiple jobs, you're doing it wrong. I'm coining that. You're doing it wrong. You must give yourself multiple opportunities. Even if you never intend to move into state, you got to give yourself that opportunity. So go and download that guide so that you can access all of the timelines in one place and all of the dates. So there's no excuses, right? You've got plenty of time ahead of time and you're ready to rock and roll when the time comes with the application because we don't want to be last minute peeps. The second thing you can get in there is our free resume guides. Now, we've had over 3,000 people download this, and I hope that you're number 3,001. Come and download it. It's completely free. Of course, when you access the hub, you get all of this. It's all there. You can download it, and you have access to anything that we add moving forward, which is amazing. So you can get the resume guide, which has helped 3,000 people update the resume. We have our resume template that we've put in there, and we've been humming and hawing and we back and forth. That's a very Scottish thing to say, but we've been humming and hawing. Do we put it in there? Do we charge for it? There's other people that charge for them. And honestly, I could make a hot dollar off of that, but I'm not going to do it. And the reason why is because I want people to be able to access a template that converts when you go to application and interview, and that's really awesome and saves people from dreaded Microsoft templates. So go and download that. You also get our interview step-by-step guide and all of the things that I see all of the nurses do wrong when they go to interview, including myself at one point in my career, so that you don't have to miss out on that dream job because you don't know how to sell yourself at interview. And then our famous interview notes template. You're welcome. Download it. Use it. Literally, somebody messaged me the other day and they said, Liam, the template for the interview notes was a game changer. Lizzie, if you're listening, she was an ED nurse. She applied for a job. She was perfect for the job. It just the timing wasn't right, and there was a couple of other barriers there. Then she went back in and she reused that template, and she landed a numb position. Like, it's totally possible. So go and download it. It's totally free. So you can get it at liamcaswell.com/NGH. liamcaswell.com/NGH. Go and get it. Your future self will thank you. Now, today, I'm going to stop pitching things to you for a little while, and I want to talk about how to land your grad in 2024. So for those of you that are not grads, this might be the time you check out. You can stick around for sure, because this all transfers over into everything across the spectrum. But if you're applying for a grad in 2024, here are a couple of things that you need to start doing now to be the best potential candidate for 2024 grads when they open. The first thing you've got to do is come and join us in the Nurse Growth Hub. I said I wouldn't pitch you again, but I'm pitching you. Come and join the Nurse Growth Hub. It's completely free. You get access to our community, and it's the place to be. If you want to apply, interview, and land your first preference role, it's the perfect place to be. If you're happy just getting any old job, like, maybe it's not the place for you. But if you want the best opportunities and all of the options, and you want to look at a suite of buffet of options, that's the place you want to be. So come and join us, liamcaswell.com/NGH. Now, the real tips, the real things that you need. So step 1, you're coming and joining us. Step 2, it's completely free. Step 2, you are going to start looking at your resume. You're going to start reviewing your resume, and you're going to be honest with yourself, and you're going to review that resume, and you're going to be critical of it. Apply your critical thinking, critical reasoning skills, and just be like, honestly, is this really selling and communicating myself? Because here's the thing, most people that apply for their grads send through, and I got a couple of them this week that were 2023 grads, did not land a job, and they've now joined us in our Nurse Career Academy, which is a separate offering where we work with grads, apply, interview, and land their dream job. And their resumes came through, and I knew straight away why they didn't get the job. They're amazing humans, but their resumes just look like everybody else's. I was like bored by the first sentence, and I don't say that to be nasty. It's how the panels feel. This is the stuff that no one will tell you. You can rely on me to be honest, and then say, here's how we make this better. So have a look at your resume. Is it starting off with, I'm excited to be considered for, or I'm applying for the job of? Everybody's starting it with the same sentence. We want to be different. You are unique. You have diverse experiences, lived experiences and professional experiences. You don't want to be submitting generic, same applications that everybody else is submitting. We want you to knock it out of the park straight away so that you are an absolute 100% hell yes. I've sat in these rooms when these people are making these decisions, and literally it's cutthroat. I say it all the time. It's cutthroat. They'll be like, nah. And it's as quick as that. Think about how quickly you scroll away from something on TikTok because it's not appealing to you and it's not aesthetically pleasing. The same is true with your application. We live in a world where everything is so quick and so fast. And they used to say 7.4 seconds is what you had to make an impression. I reckon it's probably 2 seconds now. Legit. So you want to make sure that your application is not bland, boring, generic, and just a simple word template. And also you want to stay clear of complicated, complex American Canva templates. If you're American, then that works perfectly. But a lot of people use Canva. Canva is a very difficult design system to use when you are trying to marry everything up and to make it look pretty. It might look different and pretty, but the column approach where you have a left side column and a right side column, if you think about how we read as humans, we read left to right. in our culture anyway. We read left to right. So if you've got a column, you're asking the person to read the column halfway through the page and then down the page and then come back up to the top. Honestly, that seems pedantic, but that's what people take into consideration. That's where they just go too hard basket and they move on. So we want to make it easy for them to pick you to move to the next stages. And honestly, it's all about professional branding, making your applications look amazing. I have said this till the cows come home. I've said it like 3 million times. They need to look like a cohesive suite of documents. Your CV, your cover letter, your selection criteria, your statement of claims, whatever they make you do, it needs to look like it came from the same person. Only this morning, I was reviewing an application for somebody that did not land a grad last year that now is working with us. And I was looking at their CV, cover letter, selection criteria. And their CV was like, it was okay. Their cover letter, like I wouldn't, it would have looked like anybody's. I didn't even know whose it was. There was nothing on there to say that it came from the same person. And then there was no page numbers, nothing. And then the third one, the selection criteria was a little bit better, but the same was true. There was no identifying factors on it. Like we're nurses, right? Imagine having patient notes and not having a sticky on it. Like it's just not. I mean, most of you probably use electronic records now, but you get where I'm coming from. We want it to be as professional as possible so that on paper, you're like a hell yes, you look incredible and people buy with their eyes. So if your application's not landing, especially for those more specialty led roles, but even highly competitive graduate programs, they will move. They will move on very quickly, and you'll get that dreaded rejection email, or you'll get put on the dreaded wait list, and you'll sit there for 6 months and not know what's happening. We want you to succeed straight off the bat, non-negotiable. So that's the first thing. Look at your resume. The second thing that I want you to do is start finding your references now. I cannot labor this point enough. Last year in the GCLP, which is now called the Nurse Career Academy, we had a lot of issues with our grads not having referees. And I want you to get your referees now. I want you to think about who are 2 to 4 people that you can approach within the last 6 to 12 months. 3 of them, ideally, clinical references, facilitators, nurses on the floor, NUMs, educators, people with clout. The higher, the better. Obviously, if they've seen your clinical practice, that's probably a preferred standpoint. Most places will tell you what they want. They might say, we want 2 facilitators, we want an educator, a facilitator, and a character reference. They'll be very particular. But the reason why you don't wait until then is because usually when they tell you what they need, you've only got a week or 2 weeks, and people are busy. Think about how busy you are. Think about how busy you're about to get as a graduate that is finishing up your degree, going on internship, completing your assignments, and applying for multiple graduate programs because you want all of the options. Start this process now because people honestly will ghost you and they don't mean it. They're just busy. And you will be sitting there at the last minute working at like trying to work out who can give you a reference. Like maybe the guy that I buy the coffee from every day is like a good referee. I don't know. We don't want to get to that extreme. But last year this was a huge issue. So I want you to be ahead of that this year and your future self will thank you for that. So we've got resume, review it, be honest with yourself, dive into the resources in the Nurse Growth Hub. Then we've got our referees, go out and find them. Even if you're on placement right now, leverage this. If you've got internship coming up, make sure that you leave with at least 1 or 2 references. Get all of the details and harass them. Harass them nicely until they give you what you need from them. Now, the next thing that I want you to think about in preparation for how do you land your grad in 2024 is I want you to start thinking ahead of time now. Are you going to do public private? Are you going to do interstate or just in your local area? Are you going to do grad program or non-grad program? Are you taking the quote unquote traditional path or the non-traditional path? Are you going to stuff it and just go and do your own thing? Are you going to work in primary practice? Do you want to be in mental health? Think about this because what we've learned over doing this like 400 times now with our grads is that the people that are most prepared ahead of time and they have a bit of a clearer vision as to where they're headed, they are the people that succeed. And here's the reality. You want to be making these decisions when these programs open and you're time poor. You want to decide ahead of time. And the other reason this is very important is because when you say, let's go for an ED grad program, and you're applying for the ED grad program and you're tailoring your CV, cover letter, selection criteria for the grad ED program, but then you also are kind of like, I'm kind of interested in working in mental health. in the private sector because I had a placement there and I loved the team. That's totally fine. That's amazing. We want all of the options. But now you've got a CV that is grad ED. And now we need to tailor it to mental health. So you have to factor in this time. If you're going it alone and you're not joining us in the 2024 Nurse Career Academy, then you have to decide ahead of time, okay, I'm going to need some time to update my CV cover letter selection criteria, tailor it specifically to mental health from ED. Now, that might not be as much of a stretch, but for many of you, it will be. I'm sorry that my computer keeps going off and it's taking me a little bit out of it. I apologize. I have somebody that is doing something for me and they're obviously sending me lots of messages. So that's fine. We'll just deal with them. So we've gone over resumes, we've gone over references, and we've gone over thinking about where you're going to go. And here's the thing. Honestly, if I was in your place, I would 100% apply to all of the jobs. All of the jobs. And here's why. If you put all of your eggs into one basket, you risk not getting that one role. It's like, did you see that trend on TikTok where people were like, this is like nurse math, 1 plus 1, one medication plus whatever, and they went down this path. This is the same thing here. It's bloody career math. One application, you give yourself one job opportunity. So if you don't get it, you're up shit creek without a paddle. If you apply for 5 jobs, you give yourself 5 opportunities and maybe you'll get 3 of them. This is the reality. Even with our support, even in the Nurse Career Academy, where we apply, interview, and land, and we guarantee you your first preference grad or a grad that you can love, like a job that you absolutely want, and we work with you until we make that happen. Even in that container, where we put out 10 applications, not every application always goes through. That's the reality of life, right? And here's the reason why, because they're looking for different things and not everything is meant for you. But if you only give yourself one opportunity, then how do you even know? Especially if you're somebody that doesn't know where they want to go and you're only applying for one job, what are you doing? You've got to apply for multiple jobs. Give yourself permission to apply for all of them, even if you're not going to take them. And this is why. I want you to hear this loud and clear. This is why. Because those jobs that you're like meh about, that you're not really that interested in, those jobs are your practice jobs. That's like going and rehearsing for being in a play before you actually go and do the performance. The same is true. Let's apply for a job at a private hospital that you're not so keen on, that you're never really going to take a job. Grad programs, I'm sorry if you're listening, but this is reality. This is what people do. This is what smart people do when they're applying for their grad, because they give themselves the options. They apply for the job that they're not really ever going to take, that they're not that interested in, but they're open to it because maybe it could be great. They apply, they give it 100%, they go to the application stage, they get through, they get a little confidence boost, a little hit of dopamine. There's a little bit of validation and acknowledgement that you can take, and you're like, yes, people want me. This is lovely. This is amazing. And then they go to the interview stage and they use it as a testing ground. They go through their first clinical RN experience in a job that they're not that fussed about, which takes all the pressure off. I can't even tell you how much more less stressed you will be when you don't put all of your eggs into one basket. And so they go to these interviews and they come back usually and say to me, hey, Liam, like, that was really tough. That was really hard. I think I did my best, but oh my God, interviews are challenging. I said, yeah, aren't you glad that you gave yourself the opportunity to do that as a test run and then see what the outcome is and adapt your approach for the next one, the one that actually matters? Because we don't want you to interview for the first time for a job that is your be all and end all. That's risking it for the biscuit. Like, I don't know if I would put myself in that situation in this current market. Now, whilst you might think, oh my God, we're hemorrhaging nurses, it doesn't mean that they're going to take every graduate nurse, right? It doesn't mean they're going to do that. They do not have the capacity in the hospitals to fill every vacancy with graduate nurses because they can't train them, they can't support you, they can't teach you. So we've got to be really, really strategic about how we apply and leverage those opportunities that you create for yourself by applying to multiple jobs so that you can then use them as test grounds. I wish that more people did this. Graduate programs will be pissed, sure, whatever. They'll be disappointed that you don't take the offer, but they know that everybody plays the game. The smart grads play the frigging game and they go out there and they make it happen. And then when it comes to the grad ED interview, or they go to the palliative care interview or the mental health, They are prepared. They understand how they work. They've already done 2, 3, 4 interviews. I think of Rosa, who worked with us in 2022. She applied for 10 jobs. She got 8 interviews and she got 5 job offers. And she was an international nurse in Queensland, and she landed what people would say would be impossible. She landed a Queensland Health Children's Hospital role as an RN. Queensland Health Children's Hospital RN role. And like that was her dream. And I remember she came to me just like, Liam, this is never going to work. I'm never going to be able to get into the industry. And she, like, imagine her confidence. Imagine having 8 practice runs for the one dream job. Now, some of you might think that sounds like hell, but that's what it takes in order to get what you want from your nursing career. If you think that you're just going to apply for ED and you're going to get it, you might get a surprise. So don't put yourself in that situation. Do not go all in on the one thing unless you are 100% a gazillion percent certain that you've got it in the bag and that you are going to be the star standout. If that's you, go for it. But even then, I would still give myself multiple opportunity. So there are 4 things that you can do right now in order to kickstart your application process to relieving all of the stress, worry, fear, overwhelm, ambiguity that comes with applying for your first graduate nursing role. And whilst we've talked about resumes, we've talked about references, we've talked about what else do we talk about? Where you're going to go and what you're going to do and where you're going to apply. And we've also talked about leveraging those opportunities so that you are not like you're practicing in the jobs that you don't want and for the job that you do want. There's still more work to be done. And if you're in the Nurse Growth Hub, you're going to get access to all of the resources that we create as we move forward. So that's the place to be. And for some of you, you've already been in my DMs and you're already super amazing and prepared, and you want to kickstart applying for your grad programs. Over the next few weeks, by the time this is live, over the next few weeks, we are going to be offering early bird access to our Nurse Career Academy for those nurses that want nothing but the best outcome for them. You've worked really hard for the last 3 years, or you've done your ENs and you're like working for 18 months and you want to apply, interview, and land your dream graduate nursing role. You are not willing to settle for just any job. If you're a person that is willing to settle and just take any role, the NCA is not the place for you. But if you're somebody that has worked so hard, you know where you want to go, even if you don't know where you want to go, but you're willing to learn and willing to work with us, we will help you apply, interview, and land your dream graduate nursing role. We are the only service that has the proof and the results where we've helped over 400 grad nurses just like you land their first dream preference across every state and territory for all of the dream roles that you think about: ICU, ED, multiple job offers, pediatrics, palliative care, perioperative, surgical, mental health, community, primary care, non-traditional routes, non-grad programs. We have done it all across Australia. We've had a grad in New Zealand and the UK. So what we do works. So if that is you and you want to apply, interview, and land in your dream graduate nursing role in 2024, the Nurse Career Academy is perfect for you. Unlimited application support. We make everything really easy so that you can apply for 10 jobs without it taking you more time. We will help you with every application and make sure it's top of the pile. You will beat the competition. Unlimited interview support. You will come in and we will train you in how to interview and how to respond to all of the questions so that you don't go blank, so that you don't have moments where you're sitting there like a deer in the headlights looking at the panel like, what do I say? I don't know what to do. We will teach you and train you how to use interview notes so that you can go in there and that you do not go blank and that you can alleviate the stress, fight or flight response that comes up when you're in the interview. We will build your confidence. We will build your ability to sell and communicate why they should pick you. That's what the panelists want. They want to see why you are the best candidate. And we will work with you until you land your grad from start to finish. We only have a limited number of places available in the NCA, so I don't want you to miss out. If you want to join us in the NCA, your first step is to come join the Nurse Growth Hub, and you will be invited from there to come and join us in the NCA and to make your dreams a reality this year with all of the support, absolutely everything. And the final thing I want to offer to you is that getting support to apply, interview, and land your first graduate nursing role in a new industry that you're brand new to is not shameful. It's not something that you should be hiding. It's not something that you should be worried that other people learn about. Here's the thing: leverage the game, be the person that goes after what they want unapologetically. We need to stop as nurses spending all this frigging time worrying about what other people think about giving us a leg up in the game. If you're somebody that has been an international nurse, you have done your 3 years, you're a citizen of Australia, and you've done your 3 years and you've got HEX debt and you want to start making a paycheck, what is wrong with getting the support that you need to make your dreams become reality? Well, that's literally what we're in the game of. We literally help you go from student nurse to RN, guaranteed job, so that you can tell all your mates, like, I got the job, I got my dream job. What I've just done for the last 3 years was not a waste of time. So if that sounds like you, click the link in the bio or go to liamcaswell.com/ngh, liamcaswell.com/ngh to get access into our free hub. And then from there, you'll get some information about how you can join us in the Nurse Career Academy. I hope to see you in there. And if not, come and join us in the NGH and we will take it from there. I'll chat to you soon. Hey, thanks so much for listening. I'm so privileged that you spent your time with us here today. Hey, can I ask a favor? If you know someone that would benefit from this podcast episode, please share it with them. The more you share, the more we get in front of amazing nurses and we're able to help them see that nursing on their terms across their career is totally possible for them. So I'd love if you could do that. Now, I will see you in the next episode next week. Until then, let's make this year the year that you nurse on your terms. Are you ready? Let's do it.